As we sharpen our skills as readers and writers of English, not only are we able to quickly find the information we're looking for in a piece of writing, we also start to learn to read between the lines. What does it mean exactly to read between the lines? Well, it means to be able to notice and identify the techniques that writers use in their adverts or articles. And when it's our turn to write something, we'll be able to use those techniques too. One technique is that of persuasive language, the ability to write in such a way that you get the reader to do something, like buy the phone that you're advertising, come along to the car boot sale you're running, or vote for your choice of local councillor. Persuasive language encourages the reader to agree with you and your opinion. There are many different ways we can use language to persuade. We can include the following things, for example, in our writing: facts, opinions, our own or the opinions of experts, statistics, rhetorical questions, emotive language, and we can talk directly to the reader by addressing them as you or by using the word our. We can also use repetition, repeating our most important points several times. We can use short sentences that catch the reader's eye because they're so easy to digest. Exclamation marks to show strong emotion. And we can use quotes to back up our points, say from an expert in the area that we're writing about. Now, we don't need to be able to identify or use all of these persuasive techniques to have the knack of persuasive language, but it's good to understand a few of them. In the Create a Knockout leaflet lesson, we looked at 3 persuasive techniques. Can you remember them? They're somewhere in the list we've just worked through. They were rhetorical questions, emotive language, and talking directly to the reader. In a moment, we're going to have a look at a short article that uses many of the persuasive techniques we're interested in learning about. This article gives advice to parents on how to raise healthy children and covers subjects such as food, lifestyle, and technology. So let's take a look at the article now. Let's start with the opening paragraph, the introduction. Can you find the 3 persuasive techniques that we looked at in the other lesson? Rhetorical questions, emotive language, and talking directly to the reader. Remember, some sentences might include more than one persuasive technique. Grab yourself a pen, pause the video here, and then restart once you've written down examples from this article of those 3 persuasive techniques. Okay, so let's jump right in. The very first sentence itself is a rhetorical question. Did you know that 25% of 2 to 10-year-olds are overweight? It's a question that's not waiting for an answer, but that's being used to make a point and to draw you, the reader, in. And because it uses the word you, it also uses another persuasive technique, the technique of talking directly to the reader, of talking to you. The second sentence, too, or that being overweight is linked to diseases like diabetes and cancer, is another rhetorical question. What about emotive language? We could describe the phrase, go to the ends of the earth, as emotive because it talks about how very much we love our children. So in that short introduction alone, we found 3 persuasive techniques: rhetorical questions, emotive language, and talking directly to the reader. For the second part of this video, we're going to have a look at 3 more persuasive techniques: statistics, facts, and opinions. And we'll also have a quick look at quotations too. Let's start with statistics. If I tell you that obesity amongst kids in the UK is a worry, you probably wouldn't think too much of it. But if I told you that 25% of 2 to 10-year-olds are overweight, if I gave you the numbers, what we call statistics, you might think, blimey, I didn't know it was that bad. Statistics have the power to make us sit up and take notice, to persuade us. In this case, that we need to take our children's health seriously. Similarly, if I told you that obesity is bad for health, it would be much less persuasive than if I actually gave you the cold, hard facts. That being overweight is linked to diseases like diabetes and cancer. So facts can be really persuasive in backing up our points too. Lastly, we can use opinions to back up our arguments. But to be effective, they need to be opinions of somebody who knows what they're talking about. No disrespect to Dave from down the pub, but his views on healthy eating might not carry as much weight, or be as persuasive, as the opinion of somebody who teaches about health for a living, like a health expert. Whatever Dave might have to say about the energy-giving properties of pork scratchings. If we head down to the second paragraph of our article, we can see that the writer has used an opinion here. The opinion of a nutritionist. Sorry, Dave, looks like you didn't make it into the article this time. And if we go further down that same paragraph, we can see another opinion. This opinion is actually the exact words of a researcher called Fatima Hussein. When we use somebody's exact words, it's called quoting them. And to show that we're using their exact words, we put them between little lines called quotation marks. Quotations are persuasive because they are the exact words of a person who knows their onions. Let's recap what we've learned. There are loads of persuasive techniques we can use to try to persuade the reader to agree with us. We started by recapping 3: rhetorical questions, emotive language, and talking directly to the reader, and we identified each of them in the Healthy Living article we were looking at. Then we introduced 3 new persuasive techniques: statistics, facts, and opinions. Again, we went back to our article and uncovered these techniques and talked about how they persuade the reader. We also talked a bit about quotations, the exact words that somebody, usually an expert, spoke, and that we can use quotations to give weight to our opinion. So, to wrap this up, let's finish with a nice little quote about health.